Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Bluedragonfive here,
And Jacob Weil.
and we're doing a spoiler cast on The Naked Gun,
The new version.
the new version.
Yes.
That's right. This was highly anticipated and long awaited. For Jacob and I are huge fans of the original Naked Gun, film series.
Oh, yeah.
And this is something we were definitely anticipating, and we definitely wanted to make sure whatever happens, we get we cover the new one.
The new version.
Yes, the new version. So I guess for me, so they're look again, a lot of love for the Naked Gun films. My favorite of the Zucker brothers movies. I mean, even more than Airplane. Easily, I can say I like Naked Gun more than Airplane. There's nothing against Airplane, but just it's Naked Gun.
Yeah.
Um, and I was actually we were all kind of there for the impetus of the reboot. I remember I want to say it was specifically on the Ted 2 commentary track, but it might have been A Million Ways to Die in the West, given that's the first time we kind of had Liam Neeson kind of there. But I want to say on the Ted 2 commentary track, we heard Seth MacFarlane get the light bulb like in the moment where he's kind of casually thrown aside like he'd love to see Liam Neeson in a Naked Gun remake, and lo and behold, so it was always in the back of my mind. I always thought that was such an insanely good idea, and I always imagined like he could be perfect to direct that, but it never he never ended up doing it, and he moved on to stuff like the Orville and everything. I just figured, well, it'd be nice, but he's just kind of gone to the TV space, and it's probably never going to happen. So I never considered Seth MacFarlane would take kind of the Spielberg route of like he's going to produce like the film classics, they'll produce them because obviously he's produced a lot of television, but I mean never like like producing producing like a feature film, kind of like Spielberg did with God knows how many films like Men in Black and Back to the Future and so on and so forth.
Of course.
So yeah, I just never imagined he would take that approach to movies, and dear God, it worked very well. I mean, I will say this. Now, there's one thing we should say. From the sounds of things behind the scenes, they should have looped in or included the Zuckers more. I believe David Zucker was a little hurt. Like it was kind of like there was an invitation, but it was very much like it was kind of like a he wasn't involved in the process, and I think it kind of stung that he wasn't involved in the process. So there were some hurt feelings there, and I feel bad for him. So that's the one thing the one knock from what I've heard you kind of have to give this movie is that the Zuckers they didn't quite approve. They didn't like vehemently say like they're not anti the movie, but it's very much like a thing where they weren't like completely consulted, and they weren't really brought on for it properly, and because of that they'll never not just because of that, but it's the thing of like, well, we didn't really sign off on the joke, so we can never really, we have to divorce ourselves from this new version, just stick to the love we have for our movies.
All right.
So that's kind of like what I've been hearing behind the scenes with David Zucker. But anyway, I
From what I understand, he is at least like appreciative of it getting good numbers at the box office.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like I don't think it's not like he's not like completely like devastated or anything. It's just more. It's a thing where I want to say there was a like Seth MacFarlane or somebody did reach out, and there might have been like a 20. I don't know if it was like a 20-minute conversation or what, but essentially it was a thing where like here's. I really wish I had double checked the article, but essentially it was there was he was told about the movie and he was like invited on, but I don't think it was like there was never a call back. There was never like a hey let's like they didn't really there wasn't like a thing like he didn't have script approval or anything. It wasn't that like it was kind of like well, we'd like your blessing on this, and beyond that it was like he never really looped him in on the process. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. The point being, the movie itself, I think even with that in mind, I think this movie absolutely did right by the tone and the execution of the original, despite not having the original guys technically involved in this. This is a honestly of all the movies we keep rebooting in Hollywood and keep remaking or just reinventing or what have you. This movie always felt very safe to reboot. With kind of the with kind of relevance, with this kind of relevance in mind. Um, it's just like it's Naked Gun in the world today. It's kind of spoofing and parroting the movies of today, and basically the spoof. is kind of a bygone era because we ran it into the ground with like copy of a copy and like all these like we have like we kind of get like pieces of like the crew from the originals and it just kind of becomes an imitation of imitation to it's like the spoof of today will be done by like the guy who did the knockoff spoof of like 3 films ago. So because of that, the spoof was just kind of like a dying art form that was never as great as like Airplane or Naked Gun. But my God, Akiva Schaffer, the guy who did Pop Star, the basically kind of a parody movie in itself. Um, he really brought it. He brought it to life. This will never replace the original in my heart, but I think I really look at this as just a lovely tribute. It's a lovely tribute to Naked Gun, everything that it was and everything the Zucker brothers did, and it's classic comedy in a comedy dry spell. I'm not sure if you've seen this, but there was some great marketing where we had like Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin doing a PSA about the dying art form of feature release comedies like there used to be, and how like Naked Gun essentially. I mean, so far it seems kind of like this. Like we haven't had like a feature comedy film released. It's always going to streaming or whatnot, but never like in theater, like a theatrically released comedy.
Yeah.
Like this year might be like the only one, or at the very least like the only one so far this year, and just kind of like it is very much like like go to your theater, support the movie, get us more comedies on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
So this film did right by it.
Like, yep, and to your point, like Kiva Schaffer, the team that brought you all, like and Kiva Schaffer and the writers also did the Chippendale movie.
Yeah.
The Rescue Rangers movie.
Yeah, which is, of course, the commonality there is Andy Samberg.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, which I gotta say is like knowing that the group did that gave me hope about this movie in the first place. And if you think about it, it's kind of 2 movies that Akiva Schaffer directed in a row that people thought going in would be like absolutely terrible,
and they're pretty good.
And then people ended up loving them.
Oh yeah.
And achieving highly positive reception as well. And before I give my bid, may have some comments here saying Little Blue saying I can ready to take it. There's no disappointment for you both. Nope, not for me.
Nope.
I also like Naked Gun more than Airplane.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to Airplane, I mean, I still love Airplane. Don't get me wrong. That also was the first movie that they made outside of
Airplane's very important. We don't get Naked Gun doesn't get made with that Airplane.
And it was like the first movie that they directed like outside of writing the Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yes.
But Dragon, have you seen Top Secret at all?
No.
I recommend it. It's another movie that they did. I've told you about it though.
Yeah.
So I'd highly recommend that. It's kind of probably the most looked up of the movie that they all 3 worked on. It's probably like the least remembered. You've at least seen Hot Shots in Part 2, right?
No.
Well, you should definitely check those out too. But I'm getting sidetracked. I went in hoping that this movie would be funny. Like I said, I was anticipating it maybe not to be as good as it was. And I was kind of left like this movie is hilarious. It's absolutely up to the spirit of the originals, even going broader in some areas than the original ones did.
Yeah, that was a delightful surprise.
Oh yeah, so and like I even know that they even kept like the subtle background gags that you probably won't even notice on a first viewing.
Yeah,
like little subtle details, various styles of comedy and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I just to say. I definitely want some of the most fun I've had at a theater in a long time.
Yeah.
And I actually did get to see it with the thing is, as I mentioned on a different stream, I saw it the same day as The Bad Guys 2. And I made sure to get a later viewing of Naked Gun 2 so I could see it with the Friday night at 7:00 crowd. If that makes sense. And the entire crowd was laughing their butts off.
Oh yeah.
As I was talking with somebody else, like it's rare you see a movie or any kind of media nowadays that's intelligently stupid.
That's the way to put it. Put that on the poster.
Intelligently stupid.
It's intelligently stupid.
You know what I mean by that, though, right?
Well, yeah.
I mean, like, it's definitely, this movie is without a doubt incredibly stupid.
I mean, yeah, here's the thing, okay?
But it's smart. It's well written.
You know, I asked you this before, but I just want to reaffirm this. You never saw Angie Tribeca, right?
No.
Okay, so Angie Tribeca, in all fairness, was a it was a genuine attempt at trying to replicate what the Zucker brothers did in the Naked Gun of it all, like on the small screen. And it was a solid attempt, and I did watch it, but it just kind of lacked the magic. It just kind of, I don't know. It felt very much like, I mean, it was. I respected it, but it lacked the sincerity and the kind of the commitment to the bit, where you can kind of tell it's not that they were like breaking up or anything like during the scenes, but you can kind of tell like the universe wasn't really like the universe itself was like too silly at every turn, versus like just like we have like these silly elements that breach in our world that we recognize.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that makes any sense. I'm just going to go with it.
It kind of does make sense.
Yeah, but the point being, that's the last time I've really seen like an attempt at this kind of humor, let alone that was just an attempt. This is like doing it pretty much succeeding, and just kind of. But again, we're updating it. That's the difference. We're taking Naked Gun, everything that we did, and basically we very lovingly, very faithfully updated for essentially 30 years later since the last time we've seen it. Like the landscape has changed. We're parroting different things. But things that are still remaining true within 30 years, just different set dressing.
Now going into this, there are kind of like and keep in mind these are both things that like happen at like the very beginning of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's not even the beginning of the movie, but the movie itself. It really needs a subtitle.
Well, here's the thing, Jacob. Maybe it needs a subtitle. By the same token, though, it does kind of help differentiate from the originals. The originals, like Naked Gun, was it the Files from Police Squad, or from the Files?
From the Files of Police Squad.
From the Files of Police Squad, which is good, and it's important that has it, because that was the carryover from it's the show basically made into a movie, and it gives it kind of like so there's like a trilogy of like the subtitles, but I don't know. It feels like just a differentiating. Basically, think about it. The Naked Gun is like the shorthand of like what Naked Gun was. In terms of like no one's going to say the full title, but they're getting the lexicon will just be Naked Gun. So just giving it the Naked Gun just kind of like, I don't know, shortens it. It kind of helps differentiate between the two without the stupid, like in quotes, the 2025 version of Naked Gun.
They could have called it like at least 4 1/4 or something like that.
Yeah, because that's okay. Do you want to just get into the conversation?
No. And the other thing I'm missing is the siren intros.
Well, we did incorporate in the movie though, which I was very happy, because I'm with you. I missed the siren, but we did pay tribute to it.
I know, and I appreciate at least the.
Had that not been in there, I would have been with you, and that would be a huge like missing component of the movie.
Yeah, I know, but I said I just wish it was actually at the beginning of the movie.
Well, yeah, but it's we put it at the end, though.
I know, but a new version.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well, that's okay. Look, it is I don't know. The jury's kind of out on if this movie's going to get a sequel. It's doing well right now. A lot of people really like it. There's not really a reason to not do it, but I don't know. Liam Neeson he said it was kind of a one-off. I mean, that's not saying he's unwilling to come back. That's just saying I think that's just his expectations based on what the world is kind of now with movies and box office and everything. So, if they do a sequel, I would hope they incorporate the siren, like a new version of the siren for the opening.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
So all right. All right, so let's get into it, shall we?
Okay, so I guess from starting place here. So from the marketing on this movie, I was a little worried about our opening, which I kind of suspected this would be our opening, because it's tantamount to how the original Naked Gun opens. Of course, is like Frank Drebin, taking out kind of a criminal element. Of course, in the original, Naked Gun is a band of multinational terrorists, and it's quite hilarious. But here it's basically, he's foiling a banker. I want to say this. I love the first joke of the movie. I think it's pitch perfect. The first joke of the movie is plot device written right on the right on the big MacGuffin, the kind of plot device in the movie. I just love it's the first joke of the movie. It's nice, so that Frank Drebin didn't even make it yet. It's like, it sets the tone perfectly. Okay, we're gonna be calling this stuff out. So basically, it says in one like visual gag, it yells spoof.
It's PLOT device.
Exactly, just spelled out for the audience, and that's what I'm saying. Like this, it's
the funny thing is it actually does tie into the plot. Like the acronym actually makes sense in context of the plot.
well, yeah, which is clever. It's just the idea that again that just sets the tone for okay, we're celebrating what these movies were, which were basically kind of spoofs of all the genres and everything that were kind of ingrained in film up to that point, but kind of put together through kind of like a kind of the standard cop movie plot.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so point being, we have him. So we have Frank Drebin Jr. He makes his appearance as basically a little schoolgirl who then takes out like armed bank robbers, very much like Liam Neeson would in a Taken movie, but with more comedy.
Yeah, but he kills somebody with a lollipop, like by throwing the lollipop end into their throat, not the sharp end.
Yeah. So it just sets the
knick-knack paddywhack part.
Okay, so I want to talk about that real quick. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about in setting the tone here because we hit the spoof thing. We really so I was worried about this scene going into the movie because it seemed like okay, this already not quite as eye catching as like taking out all the terrorists at the fun music, but we and of course we had the schoolgirl gag at the end. This was like what was in the trailer, and that was kind of like oh man, I don't. It's really broad, and we're just kind of making Liam Neeson where you put him in like the little girl undies. It just feels a little like I think we're kind of missing like I don't know. It just felt like we're going maybe a little too broad or like a little too like okay, we're just gonna make him just look ridiculous versus have him be kind of like the stoop. Basically the intelligent, the stupid done intelligently.
All right.
What was your poster quote exactly, Jacob?
Intelligently stupid.
Yeah, versus the intelligently stupid execution. But we did it just right here because the thing that really sold me was like during this sequence, we basically when we did that knick-knack paddywhack thing, it was like, oh my god, we're taking the action tropes that made Liam Neeson's career, his late stage, the resurgence in his career, like post Schindler's List. We're taking like basically the thing that made him a household name and an action star with Taken, and we're mocking it right off the bat, which again is basically it's the call out with Leslie Nielsen. Leslie Nielsen, you had like a very respected dramatic actor and seemingly a respected dramatic role, but again, we're having him say incredibly silly things, and we're kind of like, which is kind of paying tribute to the man's career. And I saw this clip. It's Leslie Nielsen basically hosting SNL, and he basically just calls out like, I'm not really doing anything funny. I'm just delivering these things. It's a very slight difference, but I get laughs, and just as it is worked out so far, so I'm going to keep doing it. That's pretty much what his SNL opening was. So it's a similar thing here with Liam Neeson. Again, he's just he's applying it he's the stuff that made him like the great action that he had going for him, and again the great caliber of acting. Like these are the things that are going to carry him over. Where it's the thing that we loved and Taken, but we're looking at it just kind of the absurd, kind of like spoofy way that we do in these Naked Gun movies.
After all, it's not necessarily about the line; it's about the delivery.
Exactly. So just the action tropes. It sets up that okay, we're gonna be making fun of like all the modern action tropes that we did not have, in the 80s and 90s through the Naked Gun movies, that we didn't have access to. We're making fun of the stuff that's happened in between. It's like okay, that's where I dialed into the movies like the 2000s onward action movies that we have that basically been at this point they've been played out, and we're getting to a point where it's like we just keep remaking similar movies and similar plot lines, and this is like we're gonna make fun of that. And I thought we were in good hands, like the quick hands combat thing that was all throughout Taken and the editing.
It basically immediately sets the stage like, okay, this movie's gonna be better than you thought it was gonna be.
Exactly. And here's the thing, okay, so even with the joke that got me worried, okay, so in the theater, okay, we have like that. Yeah, we have the the thing where he's with the meta. We give it a great kind of cherry on top with the meta humor, where we have like a woman's like, "Who are you?" or something. Is Frank Drebin, Police Squad, the new version.
And the entire time we see
Yeah, but this thing. So it's the fact that I'm not focusing on that part of it. I'm focusing on the meta gag that he says with a very sincere smile. It's like okay. that's adorable, and that's very meta, and that's kind of what I want here. It undercuts the schoolgirl panties joke, which is what I wanted, because I don't want to focus on that right now.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Yeah, it's just very uncomfortable, but again, it's distracting me with something that's much more funny.
But as some people pointed out, that's if Frank Drebin Sr. was in a similar thing, he would do exactly the same thing.
Yes.
That's
So basically, that was like the reassuring the whole like police squad, the new version. That's like, we're gonna be okay, folks. We're gonna be okay.
I think probably my favorite gag in that whole opening is when he's like using that one guy as a
Oh, it turns into a dummy.
lately turns into a dummy, yeah.
Which classic.
And but when he throws it, and instead of keeping their aim on him, they turn it onto the dummy and then shoot themselves.
Yes.
That's probably my favorite gag, not in the movie, obviously, but in that scene.
Sure. Also, I love our title credits gag. Where of course, at this moment, I'm missing the siren, but again, we get it later. It's okay. We end out the movie with it. It's not bad, regardless.
The naked Jeep. Wait.
I love that because it's all, and it basically calls it like that 2000s-y thing where like we wrote the part of the name on the side because they ran out of room. So that's what we're doing here. It's great.
And then they like stagger. It makes it look like the naked Gez.
Yeah.
Because the end looks like it. Never mind.
Anyway. So just to get to our meta humor is just really good. So we should talk about continuity. So the thing about this movie is it's a fun mix of reboot and sequel. With the generational component that we have here of Naked Gun with the generational components. We have, of course, Frank Drebin Jr., which was set up in kind of a little fantasy sequence in Naked Gun 33 and a half, or 33 and a quarter?
33 and a third.
33 and a third, yeah, that one. Where we had like the fantasy of Frank Jr. and Jane and everything. Basically, Frank Jr. looked like basically like an old man as a child, which so essentially that's Liam Neeson.
The funny thing is he's actually like less than 10 years younger than Priscilla Presley.
Yeah.
I guess that's also kind of like a subtle joke.
Well, yeah. So speaking of which, that's the thing. So we have Frank Drebin Jr., who is the son, and it's not even just speculate. It's like we have this hilarious scene that was like the big joke in the trailer that I still think is great, where all the cops are in front of like the placards of their fathers. Basically, this area of the police squad where they all just like they kneel and they kind of like speak to their fathers, kind of somewhat privately, but almost like a confessional. They're basically kind of crying and just kind of having emotional moments with their dads. And then we go down the line. So we have Frank, we have Ed, who basically Paul Walter Hauser plays Ed Hawkins Jr., who was Frank's buddy and police captain.
And did you notice the fun detail about Ed Hawkins Sr.'s placard?
He has a donut.
Yep.
I love it. So also to give credit where credit's Paul Walter Hauser, he's wonderfully cast. I think he's a great George Kennedy kind of like equivalent. Paul Walter Hauser is great in general, but his reaction comedy played really well and it felt a lot like George Kennedy.
And of course, that's two movies within very short time frames where we have Paul Walter Hauser in a big role.
Oh yeah. So then of course the big laugh. We go to Nordberg, played by O.J. Simpson.
And if you notice his placard just says Nordberg.
Yep. And then we cut to kind of a black officer, and he just kind of looks at the camera, and just nods like, nah. Which I still think so.
The movie is a little. He's like, Dad, nah.
Just phenomenal. Just a perfect, just honestly, it's a perfect joke and a quick addressment at the top. Like, yeah, OJ happened, but we're not gonna, no.
I just wish we had more of Nordberg Jr.
That might have been really funny though. But then again, it's kind of a thing where Nordberg's kind of like, it's kind of poison now. We can't really do anything with Nordberg because then all the gags would have to be O.J. Simpson gags. It's like we don't want to give him time of day. That's kind of the thing.
Not necessarily. You could still have. I mean, they didn't make Frank Drebin Jr. all Leslie Nielsen jokes.
Well, come on, that is not a fair equivalent. We're talking about a very infamous figure that this character is kind of now representative of.
I know, but they could,
especially with the funny joke that we had. He's always going to be the reminder. Pretty much, he would be a running gag of like. I don't know, the running gag of O.J. Simpson jokes.
They could have done that, but considering the quality of this movie's writing, they could have steered away from that more.
I mean, look, they could have, but I don't know.
I mean, and then it could be like a subversion of the audience's expectations. They could have like expected more OJ jokes beyond what they got, but then have just more broader styles of comedy with him.
Look, it's possible they didn't do it. Who knows? Maybe the sequel, but again, I don't know.
All right.
Okay,
I mean,
point to other things. So
I'm not saying it, I'm not saying it's a detriment. Maybe not. I'm not saying he need to be like a full-fledged supporting character. I'm just saying like just a couple more scenes with the guy.
Anyway, so Jane Spencer, she pops up later in a cameo, but again, I like it. We set her up too that Frank's mother is still alive. Like she calls him when he falls down the subway platform.
Oh, yeah,
with the stairwell, and though he's trying in the whole stealth scene, which is hysterical.
He's like, "Sorry, mother, I'm busy right now."
Yep.
And then when Jane actually sees what her son's doing on live television,
which makes that gag even funnier when you really piece that together. Because some people are just like, "Oh my God, Priscilla Presley, there she is."
They're like, "Oh wait, that's her son."
Yep.
And then we'll get to that scene later, but
well, yeah. Anyway, we'll get into the meat and potatoes of that scene later.
Oh God.
Anyway, let's see. So, but in general, so the continuity is just with the cup and moral gag and everything. It's just basically the takeaway here is, we lay out in that scene when he's like, just talking to his father, despite amidst the comedy, it's the desired goal of the reboot to basically, we're basically putting on Front Street that he wants to be just like Dad. I want to be just like you, but also kind of original. That's him saying the mission statement of the movie, which I thought was really nice, really sweet, and it's just like in itself was just kind of like a nice tribute to like basically what we're doing with this movie and how we're just like we're not taking away from the original. We're just continuing it.
And of course, it does pay off later as well. It's like if I ever lose my way, can you give me a sign like an owl or something?
Yeah, which again, it's a little casual joke, but it has a tremendous payoff.
Exactly.
Yeah, just wonderful.
It is, yeah.
Yep.
But the scene also kind of implies that Police Squad has a very big nepotism problem.
Oh yeah. So yep.
I said hire back all of the sons of the original Police Squad.
Pretty much. Okay, it would have been really funny if they had like the really tall guy with Al, like like the huge, like the guy who's off screen.
That would have been funny, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk the plot structures in terms again with kind of the reboot, kind of continuation kind of vibe here. Our plot structure based on the originals were.
Oh wait, speaking of which, there's some other continuity that we forgot to bring up.
Go on.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Yes, we do get Weird Al.
But that's what I was doing. Like he made it. That's another thing I was hoping. Are they going to get Weird Al for this? And they did.
Of course they're going to. Why did you think they weren't going to have Weird? I didn't know how he was going to show up, but I knew he was going to show up.
Well, it was never explicitly confirmed beforehand.
Well, no, neither. I'm just saying it's like, okay, Weird Al's still alive. Clearly, well, technically he's a zombie, but the point being he's somewhat still alive.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would they not put him in this?
Fair enough.
If you're gonna have any carryover, any cameo, plus he's like in all the. I want to say he's in all the Zucker Brothers movies, but not technically.
Yeah.
Point being, he feels very ingrained with that, so it feels like you would have to bring in Weird Al.
I mean, like I said, I'm glad he did.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
But as you were saying.
Yeah. So with the reboot nature of the film, so we spoke of just the continuity and continuation, but with the plot structure, it feels like okay, so we're taking all the core bits from Naked Gun, but we're not repeating any of the same jokes, which I thought was really a smart way for them to approach it. We take the skeleton of the original, where the skeleton is. Because think about this. Okay, so we have the introduction of Frank Drebin via an action sequence. We present him with the case. He meets the girl. We have the love story montage, which we'll get to later, and it's hysterical.
Yeah.
He's off the case, and we have the third act set piece.
Oh yeah.
So again, similar and also very similar plot device of mind control. Only we have modernized it tremendously.
Yep, and escalated the scale too.
Oh yeah. All right. So I guess let's talk about Beth. Let's talk about Pam Anderson.
Oh yeah. And fun fact, I heard that she and Liam Neeson started dating after this movie.
I did too. I hope that's true because that'd be really nice.
I can see it. I can see it working.
Yeah, I hope they're careful if they go on go to a ski lodge though.
As long as they don't find any voodoo books.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was called, like witchcraft books.
Yeah, it was a whole thing there. As long as they don't bring that, they should be fine. But still, they'd be careful if they built the snowman.
Yeah, snowman.
Snowman.
It went from Jack Frost to Jack Frost.
Yeah, in this case, it'd be like Tom Hardy voicing the snowman.
Yep. But yeah. So Beth was kind of interesting. It was definitely an interesting character.
Yeah, so she's very much Pam Anderson was just really spot on casting in that she is very much in the mold of a Priscilla Presley in terms of it's a famous beauty. She's she would be an equivalent age. Basically, it's like a more age appropriate version of the of kind of the Leslie Nielsen Priscilla Presley kind of like age range. It's a little bit more like a little closer believably in age. Also, I want to mention this too again. It's a little. I just love the charm, the fact that we have like one LN to the other LN. Leslie Nielsen to Liam Neeson. It's just kind of cute.
It was, and I don't think that a lot of people miss that detail.
All right. But yeah, so point being, she's very Pam Anderson. She's just very cute in this movie, and seeing her kind of like play into the femme fatale, like you give her like the femme fatale intro, and that's kind of how she's playing it, which is a little different from Jane Spencer, which is appreciate. I love the take a chair gag. That's still really funny.
I mean, and also not to mention the fact that he was narrating her departure.
Yeah,
and then everybody else was too.
Yeah, like, hey fellows, do you mind?
They're like, all right.
Okay, so we got to talk about the best. I want to talk about my favorite joke, my favorite running gag in the movie.
The coffee?
Yes, the coffee. I loved it so much. It was so darn funny. Just the idea that it's a cop prop thing, where the idea is like in a cop movie or anything, actors like props. So the idea is like, we give them like the trope of like, okay, so you're gonna be holding a prop, which usually is like coffee, especially if you're a hard boil, like kind of cop or detective movies, that they're always, drinking coffee. So it's the idea that he's every scene, no matter what, even just take one sip, it's always a thing you kind of notice in movies sometimes. Where there's a lot of we burn through a lot of coffee. The Punisher is obsessed with coffee in the MCU, by the way, but beyond that. Just the idea that every scene, even if they one sip of coffee, even if they don't take a sip of coffee, they're holding coffee. Someone will like offer them coffee or bring them a new one, or they're giving like bigger, giant sizes of coffee, and it's just so hilarious. Like he's driving mid scene in a seat, and a hand from off screen just like hands him coffee.
He's like, thanks.
Love it.
I mean that's convenience.
I just love that it kept going. I just really, oh my god.
I like the cut, and then some of them kept getting like bigger and bigger too.
Yep.
Other like minor details, like one of my favorite minor details that isn't explicitly pointed out was like the cold case rooms. Did you notice that one?
See, I know I did. So to me, that's like it's classic Zucker Brothers right there.
Yeah, but like where it's like cold cases and like it's like a freezer.
Like the back of like a grocery store or something.
Yep. Yep. I like that's how it was that exact background detail. It's like, yeah, they studied the original movies, all right.
Oh yeah.
Like they studied it to a T. They like the minor details, the minor gags you might not notice like upon even the fifth time watching it.
And we had the musical tryouts. Putting like on the board, you think it's like a web of like crime, like a murder board or something. It's like the results of the auditions for the musical.
Yep, and not to mention like the mug shots are framed like a fashion shoot.
Oh yeah, so they nailed that. Like I said, I should probably just get it in somewhere so I don't bog us down here. I do have one singular gripe with the movie.
Yeah,
just one.
Okay.
So. It's not a deal breaker. I want to be very clear. It's not a deal breaker. It doesn't really sour the movie. And this is just more of like, this isn't a thing specifically against the movie. It's against the release of the movie. So in the theater watching this, it did occur to me that the in-theater experience, particularly, it's because the movie is wall-to-wall laughs with basically the movie is like it's wall-to-wall laughs with no breaks, which I feel will make it great on a rewatch at home. But in the theater, it's kind of the thing like, if you don't, if it's joke after joke, like it is, visual or otherwise, it takes a little bit away from the setup that the original kind of built up certain gigs that they had their background jokes. Don't get me wrong, like we're talking about. However, certain jokes, like there was a little bit of breathing room that would build up to something really funny, and we had really funny jokes, but that's the thing, it was kind of, there was no breaks between the laughter, and I'm not just trying to say like they did too good a job, which clearly, they did really good at it, but it's just, am I making any sense here where it's like kind of hard to appreciate all the jokes if like we're kind of stepping on other jokes to get the other jokes,
I definitely see where you're coming from, because in some of the acting classes and workshops that I've taken, I sometimes do like amateur theatrical productions. Sometimes they say that after like certain funny lines, like wait for the audience to, kind of like the filming from a live studio audience thing, like where they actually wait to continue the line until the audience is done laughing.
Yeah, well, you need your pauses for laughter, essentially.
That's the reason why the laugh track is kind of the way it is, and why people even with canned laughter stop for sitcoms after, even if they're not filmed in front of a studio audience. That's like a holdover for that.
I just feel the original Naked Gun had a little bit more kind of construction around the jokes, and I'm not saying we didn't have like constructed jokes here, but it felt like we're throwing like a lot of humor there, and I think it just kind of. It kind of, for example, when you're watching the crowd, they're thinking it's funny, but they're not. You're not getting consistent laughs because again, people are laughing at different parts, or it's just kind of like it's not a collective audience.
I didn't miss it. The thing is to add a minor, to a minor counter to that. Like, I didn't really miss any of the jokes in the movie. Maybe it was like because I saw it in like a theater with a lot of surround.
I didn't miss the jokes either, but I'm just saying though, it's kind of like like I'm laughing, but you kind of think, maybe am I laughing too much because I'm seeing the jokes? But it's like how much can you laugh at without
and that could also lead to people rewatching it because they enjoyed it, but maybe if they watch it again, they'll find something new.
Which I mean, I hope, like I said, it's not really it's not really a criticism of the movie. It's just kind of an observation of the theatrical. Again, I've never had that. I've never saw Naked Gun in theaters until this moment. So I wonder if the original might have had this problem. I don't know.
The thing is that's how I kind of imagine it. Like I've known people that say that they actually did watch it in theaters and like they laughed their asses off.
Yeah, so I mean it's just kind of a unique experience, I guess. Anyways,
the thing is, I've actually talked to people who were police officers that watched this movie and watched the original movies and were like blown away by how funny it was.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, so maybe it's kind of a similar thing from back then.
Well, that thing, quite possibly. Again, not a criticism, just an observation. It's like the only thing closest to a gripe I really have with the movie. I just want to throw that there.
Which is high praise.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so
that it's almost too funny.
Too funny. That's it. It's too funny.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, speaking of which, so we have some fun classic callbacks. Of course, the one that Jacob and I were very much pretty much cheering at. We had the stuffed beaver joke.
I was like, oh yeah, that's not even like a major thing. It's just like, oh look, it's the beaver.
Yep, in the background, like the jazz club. As you walk in, it's like, oh, there it is. It's the beaver. It just had it stuffed.
Let me help you with that. Nice beaver.
Thanks. I just had it stuffed.
And as we discussed, I hope they have a joke like that in the new Hoppers movie.
I don't know. I think we just got a Naked Gun movie with the actual beaver in it, Jake. What more do you need in life?
I know, but I'm just hoping there's a joke like that in Hoppers.
I don't know. All right, so let's talk to our villains. Richard Kane, played wonderfully by Danny Houston. So I love Danny Houston. Danny Houston is perfect casting. Mind you, he's no Montalban, but who can be? Who can be Ricardo Montalban? Come on.
Exactly. Like, he's a different kind of villain than the previous three villains were.
Yeah, so but again, it's in the tradition though. We have a quality actor. He's his refinement. He's got a good voice. He's he's giving. I love that. Like we have a guy where he sets the tone. He's giving a presentation, and he keeps getting interrupted by the guy asking about the lobster hands.
It's like I love that. And it's like enough with the lobster hands.
Which is great. Again, it's like it's the formula like what you had with Multibon, which is great. Or basically, and again, it's the charm of Freakazoid, which again we don't get Freakazoid without Naked Gun. They introduced the concept of Ricardo Multibon saying silly things.
I understand this joke. I like it.
Yep, like like enough with the weenie word, or enough with the sandwich. Stuff like that. Like oh look, it's a man with a monkey.
And it takes great skill to get these like highly distinguished actors to say these most ridiculous lines and have it land perfectly.
So the fact that this movie revels in that comedy principle is just icing on the cake for me. So yeah, it's just Danny Houston. He's kind of embodied that, where he's just playing it straight and all this absurdity, and but again, he's going along with it. He's committing to it as much as Neeson is.
And what's great about his connection with Neith is that he's like there's actually a thematic parallels between him and Drebin as well.
Yes.
Like like they're both they're both tough men and all that.
Yeah.
So I just think that there's a bit of more thematic connection between the villain and hero in this movie than the previous movies were.
Yeah. So, well, traditionally, what you had was like the most with the Naked Gun movies. You had here's I'm going to blank on some of the names of our villains. I know the actors, but we had Robert Goulet. Robert Goulet. The big thing was like romantic rival.
Yeah.
It was the big thing that we had going on there. Ricardo Montalban was, you're right about it. So we haven't really had a lot of like parallels really with these villains before, so it's no.
Vincent Ludwig, Quentin Habsburg.
Oh yeah, Habsburg. That's.
And I believe Rocco Dillon and Muriel Dillon.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, the point being, like you didn't really like, with Rocco. It's the idea that Frank and Rocco had a connection through Nicole Smith. Through God, was it Tammy or something?
Tanya.
Tanya. Yeah, Tanya. Anyway, yeah. So okay. Point being, this villain is kind of he's very much like an update on he represents kind of the updated quality of Naked Gun in terms of like the timeliness, where basically he is kind of a I don't know, it's not direct, but he's kind of like an evil mockery, at the very least a mockery of Elon Musk. The idea of the guy with like the fancy self-driving car, essentially the Cybertruck, which by the way, no joke, when I went to see this movie, I saw one of those in like the parking lot of the mall. Which was just really funny and just really just like, oh man, small world, just seeing one of those.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so it's just very topical, the fact charging stations for the electric cars and just all this, which of course he gives Frank an electric car and it does not go well for him.
And not to mention the electric car is also important to the plot and also the murder weapon.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so seriously, I just like that we're kind of updating, like this is where technology is now, and the direction we're kind of heading, and so it's kind of having some fun with it, and just kind of the commentary on the whole thing of like and all this advancement, all the crazy rich people and the stuff that they do or prepare for, the egos that they have. It's like we have like his Eden plan, which is, by the way, I'm convinced with the whole spoof nature of the movie. Very Kingsman inspired. The first Kingsman movie, the plot is essentially the same thing, where we use cell phones to drive people to violence, which would pretty much take everyone out versus a bomb.
Yep.
So we kind of use that as our plot device, which basically is a modernization of what the original Naked Gun was, which we're going to use like a frequency on like a device of some kind that's basically was a bracelet or was like a watch in the original Naked Gun. It will drive people to violence and basically be an assassin.
Oh yeah.
So kind of a social assassin here.
But in this case, it's less being an assassin, more turning them into like into feral beef, basically.
Basically, his plan is natural selection. His plan is like all the weak will, kind of take each other out.
Call the weak, basically.
Yeah. You know what's really funny about this plot too?
What?
It feels a lot like a Ra's al Ghul plot.
Actually, kind of does.
Which again, it feels kind of perfect for Ra's al Ghul, and of course, the irony being, Ra's al Ghul is kind of our hero of this story.
Yep, he is.
Anyway, so I mean, the plot tracks, and it does feel like kind of like a modernized version of the original plot. Where so he and his friends are going to enjoy Weird Al in a bunker somewhere while everyone kills each other, and then they're going to reclaim the elitists will reclaim the earth.
It's just the fact that's like while we have the very best entertainment, Weird Al Yankovic.
Yep.
And I'm like, he's not lying, though, is he?
We have the fun musical taste of this bad guy too, where he loves Weird Al and he also loves the Black Eyed Peas.
He can't be all that bad.
Well, that's true. And then we just love we have this Liam Neeson with that great delivery, just saying, "Never forget Fergie."
I never forget Fergie.
Which again, just overall, look, we can't. It's just kind of hard to really.
And then later during the action sequence, it plays Fergalicious.
Yeah. Now, it's hard to undersell this point, but again, Liam Neeson, again, there is no movie without him playing this role, and just him just being able, again, like the thing we were describing with Multibon, it's the same kind of principle where you have this Oscar-winning actor. I think he won for Oscar Schindler, right?
I believe so, yeah.
This Oscar-winning actor, just say being put in these ridiculous situations and these ridiculous, silly jokes. And just saying, but again, saying them with like commitment and also just being able to, he's committing to the bit.
As if he's in the most serious drama.
Yes, I know we're just repeating that a lot, folks. But we can't undersell the importance of that aspect in this film.
Of course, no.
All right, so the jazz club.
Yep, as I noticed, it has the beaver, which was like it has the beaver. Which when I noticed, I was like, "Hey, look, it's the beaver."
Yeah.
But so yeah, it's like so he meets Beth there again after telling her basically not to get involved with the case, which by the way involves her brother, which we forgot to mention earlier.
Yeah, so the base of the case started with, Frank, he's under threat of maybe an IA investigation, which we pay off later. Yeah. Because of the bank robbery, because people are suing and everything, so she bumps him down to like traffic and car crashes and stuff. So basically, so with the car crashes, he investigates, kind of a victim of one, and which ultimately we will reveal is the doing of Richard Kane with the self-driving car.
Yeah, but I love how they're trying to clear out the wreckage using the claw machine.
Yeah. That to me was like the first broad joke that we had.
Yeah, but it totally fits within the Naked Gun verse.
Yep, because it's a crane, but
Yep, and then when it drops, it's like it's gonna drop, isn't it? And yep, it drops. Like But yeah, so yeah, Beth then gets involved because of the death, because she believes that her brother didn't commit suicide, which Frank had ruled it as.
Which is just funny that he's ruling that as a suicide.
Yep.
Like it'd be like an accidental, like a natural cause, or like an accidental death, versus like suicide. It's just funny.
Yep. So yeah. So she gets involved, and the entire time with Kane there, he pretends that she's not related to her brother. Oh, what I'm trying to say. I forget the brother's name. Simon? I think Simon was his name.
I think so.
So she's like, does he know you're Simon? Simon's sister? No, let's keep it that way. And it's like, name is Cherry Hamilton Fat Bozo eating spaghetti.
God, I laughed so hard at the Fat Bozo eating spaghetti. Honestly, I think we saved it for me. It's just like Danny Houston saying, Miss Bozo eating spaghetti.
Exactly. And the fact that he carries on while he carries her name throughout the entire rest of the movie.
No, until he reveals he knows who she is.
Yeah. If we're giving away spoilers for later plot, there's really not much of a surprise there.
Yeah.
I mean, not that this movie has like a deep, intricate plot or anything.
Okay, so this is funny. So with the subversions that we have from the original, where again we pretty much went with all new jokes ultimately, but I do love that we go in there and we have like he's talking to the bartender, and initially you're thinking it's gonna be like a bribe joke, like we had in the first, way back in the first one.
Which, by the way, Frank Sr. gained $20 from.
Yeah.
And another kind of a minor funny gag. There's like after like the guy wiping the glass with his cloth. After he sets it down, the glass is still being wiped with the cloth.
Yeah.
He's like, I've shot thousands of people. At least a couple hundred. He was white. Oh, you're his brother. God.
How is he? Bad.
Because he's.
All right. Anyway, so that already was great, and then there's this gag of he, instead of like bribing him, he does he bashes his head against the bar, and every time he does it, his face changes, which is hysterical.
Including the last one looking like Liam Neeson.
Yeah, it's like does it again.
And he's back to normal.
So I love that. Then of course we have the stealth gag where basically she's distracting the jazz club by doing scat.
Yeah, it's like
No, it's not what you think, kids. No, she was just like doing like jazz, like like saying a bunch of like kind of musical nonsense.
It's like taking sassafras in D minor, boys, and they're like, wait, what?
I really like the joke that precedes that, where like she's like telling them that she's about to do scat, and they have no idea what she's talking about.
Yep. And then she does. Let's just say, jazz scatting is an art, and she's not good at it.
No, if jazz scatting's an art, she's finger painting.
Exactly. Dragon, she'd make finger painting look like an art form.
Yeah.
If that makes sense in that context.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Frank Jr. is basically trying to sneak by, but accidentally falls down the stairs in the back room.
Then of course we get some basically in general like our action movie fun that we have. Like I said, we had like the patty cake stuff in the opening, but he's accidentally ripping arms off and then like hitting the guy with his arms.
In the groin.
Yeah, in the groin.
The now serving gag.
Love that.
Yeah.
I think one of the funniest jokes, which I have this relationship so much. I just love he's pulling up security footage and it's like all the ads and like the skip ad button. It's like, yes, he feels my pain. Yes.
That's one reason why I signed up for YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
I like downloading videos and listening to them while I talk, while I do this, while I do work. And that really helps. Plus, ads got annoying, and they're getting even more annoying.
Well, yeah.
So, but yeah, I feel his pain too.
Yep. Anyways, of course, later on, during the climax, we also have like some just fun action beats where he's like sliding under the row of guys and boxing their marble bags.
Oh god. Oh god.
Yep. I love. Well, I guess we'll save some of that for later. My favorite action beat, but we'll get there. So let's talk about Kevin Durant's character, Sid Goofson. Gustafsson.
Yeah, Durant also did a Proximus Caesar in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
And he was the Blob in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yeah. Not necessarily the best thing.
I didn't say it was his best role. I'm just saying it was a role, Jacob.
I know, but I'm just saying, like he was also very good in Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, he was. He was really good. I wasn't crazy about that movie. He was great in it.
I mean, I liked the movie. It's not as
that
good
was
as
fine. I'm just saying it wasn't as good as the other ones.
Well, it was definitely better than Rise. Not as good as the Matt Reeves directed movies, but still, I think it was like the second best of the new quadrilogy.
Anyway,
but yeah, so I liked him as a character. He's kind of like this like mercenary or tracker kind of guy.
Yeah.
So, why don't you explain what happens, Dragon?
Okay, so basically he's the head of security and just kind of like the gopher for our bad guy, and he's sent to spy on Drebin while he's taken. I think is after the jazz club, and he takes Beth to his apartment, or basically she's there at his meeting him at his apartment to
Like,
talk things over.
Oh, we forgot to talk about the whole body cam gag.
Well, yes, but all right, I was gonna get to that. We can
do it. We can do it later then.
All right, we'll do it right after. I want to do this first. Okay, so again we have like the seductive kind of like kind of the hard boiled noir kind of dynamic between Frank and Beth here. Basically, she
talking about making turkey.
Yep, a dirty bird.
It's like you guys like a good stuffing.
Yep, so a lot of turkey double entendres, and basically she comes in to cook him a turkey dinner.
Literally there's like all the talk made them actually hungry for turkey.
Yep, and then of course the Kevin Durant character, he basically pulls out these these infrared goggles.
Yep.
To binoculars to spy on them, so he's getting a view from a distance, like up close. But it's in infrared, so he's not seeing all the finer details, just seeing like the body heat and everything. And he is a lot of raunchy, hilarious visual comedy that's coming from this, where basically everything is being missed. It's very awesome. It's the most Austin Powers joke in the whole movie, frankly, but it's great.
Frankly,
yes. But it's just the whole it's like the whole shadow puppetry gag in Austin Powers 2 and 3.
Yeah, but with the tent scene, yeah.
Yeah, specifically 2.
Like including looked like the oven. You're right. This oven is disgusting.
Yeah, so basically, okay, I guess to put it delicately, so she's on all fours and scrubbing, the oven vehemently. So, I know all that dirty bird talk. We can't. This oven's filthy. We can't eat with this oven.
While the Frank is looking at the ceiling.
Yeah, so he's like standing at an angle, and she's just kind of vigorously, like both hands, just like scrubbing, and it looks,
Yeah, it looks like she's doing with the mouth.
Well, I wasn't good. Yeah.
There's the baster.
Yeah, and then things get really hilarious if I say where Frank's dog is in the scene.
Where he bites the baster.
Yep. And then
I'll put it this way, Dragon, and you're probably gonna hate me for this. Like from Sig's perspective, looks like Frank's giving new meaning to the word doggy style.
Pretty much, yeah. He's very, let's just say Frank Drebin, he's very affectionate with that dog. Man's best friend, or man's BFF, one could say. Yeah.
It was like, yep. I was like, well, that's, yeah.
He's pointing from a distance. It looks very sick and wrong.
That is sick and wrong.
Pretty much.
but we also see how innocuous it actually is. Just like,
yeah, exactly. So the flip side is, okay, things are actually okay, but the Durant cares. He's going to need therapy.
Anybody would need therapy after that.
Yep.
I mean, first off, when the dog bites the baster.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of winced myself when I saw that. I was like, I knew that it was biting the baster, but just the sheer image of it going like, ooh.
Yeah. Plus, that's probably to scale too.
Yep. Yep. Oh, God.
Especially if that later gag's any indication. Or if anyone's seen the movie Kinsey. But anyway,
oh God, I actually have seen Kinsey.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about, okay, what I'm going to argue is probably the best joke or best sequence in the movie.
Yeah.
The body cam sequence is the standout. It's the standout, and this is where I think they nailed everything. This is where we have this is what I'm talking about, Jay. This is like pure gag construction. There's some breathing room around this scene. This is where this scene just like, okay, so it's a great setup. It's a great standalone setup. You could clip this out of the movie and have a sort of really find this is the perfect pitch and sell for the movie. By the way, the real life pitch and sell for the movie was really hilarious. It was just Frank Drebin calling up the Paramount executives, which is really funny.
And roasting them.
Yeah, pretty much. He was just kind of breaking the fourth wall and just like calling them out and saying, look, we do this movie, we're not gonna do we're not gonna like the studio executive's gonna be on the set, we're not gonna do that. That kind of stuff. Anyway, so the body cam gag is, I believe it's Buster Rhymes as like the bank robber, right?
Yep, the entire time he's claiming he's not there. It's like not good because and Frank doesn't like it. It's like, we're an area of transparency here at Police Squad.
Which, by the way, I love my favorite joke in the movie. It's so simple. I love the man's laughter joke.
It's like 20 years for man's laughter. Must have been quite the joke.
No. 20 years for man's laughter. It's manslaughter. Must have been quite the joke.
Well, that's how it was in the trailer. In the movie, it was like, must have been quite the joke, and then he said manslaughter.
Right. Nah.
But yeah, the body cam, the whole body cam sequence.
So yeah, this is a fun call out for like, yeah, now we have body cams, and this is just kind of like, just imagine if this kind of thing. Yeah, with the transparency, we just saw the day in the life of a cop by the body cam footage, but it was just absurdist.
Yeah, but it's like from all like the chili dogs.
Okay, so here's the thing again. You can have bathroom humor and things, kids. Don't be afraid of it, but it has to be fun, actually funny, and not just gross out. And this is funny. This is genuinely funny. The idea that you have, again, Oscar Schindler, kids. Okay.
Yep. It's like
that's Oscar Schindler.
I'm gonna have another suit. I'm gonna ruin another suit.
But again, it's the desperation within Liam Neeson. He's like, oh, I'm gonna ruin another suit.
And then, not to mention the fact that it's like, excuse me, get in the back of the line. Like he has to cut. Wants to cut into the line to the bathroom because there's a line. But so
pulls out the gun, discharges the weapon, like clears everyone out. But also like the breakfast of champs is a chili dog and like a 7-Eleven coffee just at the start of his day, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta find a bathroom. I'm gonna ruin another suit." And then this is the joke I lost it at. Okay, all that was great. This was it. Okay, I'm sure he had the same thing. Okay,
like not another one, man.
No, so he goes for another one. But okay, so sorry, it's two things. Okay, I love what sells this and makes this perfect to me. On one hand, is throughout the scene, you have Frank just looking away, and he's in the room. He's getting frustrated. Like, oh, fast forward already.
And more people show up to watch.
Yeah, so that's great, and that's fantastic. But that's just, again, this thing, the legitimacy of the actor. It's like, okay, this is perfect. Then we have the gag that brings it on home. Okay, so after the second chili dog, but as it's happening, Buster Rhymes as the bank robber, he's like, "Oh no!" Just say, "Don't do it!" Like it's like he's watching a horror movie. He's like, "Don't do it."
I had 5 more that day.
I think that bit was that to me, that's the funniest joke in the whole movie. I could laugh just that whole sequence with that specific be like, don't do it. I had 5 more that day. Yes, God, yes. Yep. Schaefer did it. Schaefer measured up to the Zuckers on that one. Yes.
The Zuckers never really did explicitly bad.
I know, that's the thing. They didn't really. Well, we had that scene in Naked Gun where he's like, he's using the bathroom, but we have like the mic on. That's kind of the equivalent of this.
I know that again. That's kind of like updating it for the modern day, but obviously this escalates it into like ridiculous degrees that it's hilarious.
Here's what I respect. I respect that we had.
Remember, this is Oscar Schindler, Qui-Gon Jinn, Ra's al Ghul.
Yep.
And he's doing this.
Hey, look, he's got he's essentially immortal, but that doesn't mean he's excused from what a chili dog in the morning will do to you.
Oh yeah.
Regardless, I just love that. I think I really respect that. I think the reason is just it kind of holds up. I think it works the way it does. Is that we don't do the obvious joke in which, okay, so he left the body cam on while he went into the bath. We didn't do that joke. We didn't need that joke. It just flows great. It's all about the reactions and just like the horror and the face. Okay, how is he going to break this guy? Like just the sympathy and the desperation on this guy. It was like he's been through so much, and then of course then he's caught on camera. It's like, okay.
Yep. And then it's just. And then basically he spills the beans.
Well, after Frank did, but yes.
Well, yeah. Like after all, this is our hill, and these are our beans.
Yeah. Okay, so basically what we're going to do here, folks, is we're going to shout out some of the really laugh out loud funny jokes. Because, again, we already went through basically what all the plot points are. So at some point, Frank gets thrown off the case.
Yeah.
But along the way,
I love the details. Like it's like basically when he calls the chief, and like if she wants to see Frank now, but he goes to her house instead.
this was my second favorite joke in the movie, I think.
With the house visit.
I love the house visit. Here, I laugh so. This to me felt like a Seth MacFarlane ad. Like if MacFarlane had anything here, just the bit towards the end, where it's just this thing where, after he's essentially taken off the case, he basically so the idea is we got to shout her out. CCH Pan, Amanda Waller, wonderful actress. She plays the police chief. Well, essentially is the foil for I think it was the mayor. I don't know if she was the chief in the original Naked. We had the mayor or the chief.
She's basically called the mayor, I believe.
Yeah, so they had the mayor in the original movie. We had the mayor. So she's kind of the equivalent to the mayor, the woman who's in charge who has horrified reactions to what Frank Drebin does.
Yep.
Anyway, so basically she's in bed with her husband, and her husband's has a sleep mask on and everything. He's trying. It's hey, and they're having this whispery, the intense conversation, but it's all whispery about what are you doing, Drebin?
And the best part is she has to do it because he's going to get the promotion, and then Frank's invested in her husband getting the promotion.
That's the MacFarlane of it all, right there. The idea he's genuinely invested in is but Ron trained that guy. I know. But anyways, after he's been there's nothing you can do. He's been taken off the case. He's just goodbye, Ron. We're all pulling for you. It's yes. Oh god, so funny.
It was great.
All right, so then we have before that we had the snowman montage. How about the snowman montage?
The snowman.
So this is this wonder. Okay, so in the original, we basically the idea of you have them falling in love, which is an homage to Butch and Sundance.
So the original one being something telling out into something good.
Yeah.
And then this one is they basically does take his leave. I mean, it's kind of presented as an Imagine spot, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's where they go to this far away cabin and in the winter, in the cold snow.
I honestly, Jabe, I took it to be literal. They just went away for a week and that just inexplicably happens in that amount of time.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
So, but yeah, so basically we use instead of the I'm in for something good, we use the basically the mannequin song. That's the shorthand for it, but nothing's going to stop us now.
Yeah, nothing's going to stop us now.
And of course with the we can build this thing together with the whole we're building the snowman. So just this wonderfully absurd. Now I gotta be honest. So in the whole movie, this is the scene that is going to make or break the audience in terms of this whole snowman cabin montage. It's wonderfully absurd, and I have no idea. I was wondering this in the theater. I have no idea if the general audience is going to get this or just really appreciate this. Just the idea of we're going really far off the reservation just for complete farce for a few minutes.
And then it gets to the point where they find this book on witchcraft. They read it. They read it, and it brings the snowman to life. And then they bring it into the fold.
Yeah, they bring it into the bedroom, and I love that Frank's using the little basically the stuff you use to make a snowball, the cherry or the strawberry or the syrup, the flavor syrup.
And he eats the snowman's hands.
God, I love that they're including the snowman in the act and everything. And then of course it just devolves to the snowman is then jealous and wants to usurp Frank's role in the role so he can have Pam Anderson all to himself. So this is what I love this. So I love that he methodically emptied the inhaler, which Frank randomly has for this one sequence. He has an inhaler, so he goes to use it. It's oh god.
Yep, and then when he stops to take a breath, the snowman plots to kill him with a gun.
Yep.
Before Beth kills him with a sword.
Which is just going that he goes in the hot tub and it's god, it's great.
The funny part is when how the song initially turned sinister when you see the snowman becoming jealous.
Yeah.
Like it's a movie. That is like completely disconnected from the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Absolutely.
But it's hilarious.
Which again, some people are either gonna get it or they're not.
Like, and when I saw, most people in my theater got it.
Yep. I just love it. It's like the game. It's like how basically the joke being like how far, how long can we push this farce before we go back to the main movie? That's what the joke is.
I mean, now that's a Seth MacFarlane cutaway joke.
Yes.
But done better than recent Family Guy.
Well, yeah, but again, that's again, MacFarlane again. He brought, well, again, he didn't really direct this, so I can't even say this honestly. But MacFarlane went to features. I think he brought a lot of the effort with him.
I know, but he did write. I believe he did like write some of the materials. So.
Well, he didn't get the writing credit on this, but he probably there's no reason to suspect he didn't pitch certain things.
I mean, from what I understand, like the way I understand is like several people like did like added jokes and material to the script, but only like certain people get screenplay credit for.
Well, that's probably what it was then.
Yeah, it's like I'm not saying that was specifically a Seth MacFarlane creation, but it feels like one.
It does. It feels like classic Family Guy, which MacFarlane, when he's been doing these movies, or at least in part to these movies, he's usually he's on his game. He brings back kind of the classic Family Guy vibe when he's been doing that.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, let's see. So, all right, okay. We have the frame up. Which is classic. This to me felt, in terms of the direction, felt the mostly kind of classic. It felt both classic Zucker Brothers, but also kind of like what the other spoof movies had kind of failed to capture, like the scary movies and stuff. Where it's kind of like it's a very direct setup. It's a very simple direct setup where a character's just going to play really stupid. But I don't know. I think the way in which we just can build upon it is what makes it more Zucker than it does like the movies that we had.
It kind of reminds me of the scene where Frank investigates the Ludwig's office in the original movie.
A little. I mean, kind.
I mean, not exactly, but it's kind of reminiscent of that scene.
Sure.
And like,
so,
or is it the bingo scene?
Yeah.
Bingo.
Still great. Anyway, so let's see. So we have the.
I have your knife. Where do you want me to put it?
Yep. What's this red liquid?
I'm stepping in some red liquid.
Like a tape recorder says, press me and say, I confess. This is Frank Drebin Jr. I confess. Or it was me. I did it.
I love how this frame up doesn't play like a part in the rest of the movie at all.
Well, I mean, remember, he's on the run after this.
I know, but not. It's not really brought up too much.
But all right, fine.
I mean, okay, never mind. But yeah, it's like, and I love how he tries to fix things, but only to make things worse by
decapitate the guy and his face just completely cut off and like eviscerated by a ceiling fan somehow.
I mean, I've stuck my hand in a ceiling fan before. They hurt, but it's not enough force to cut through a hand, let alone a head.
I want to express just to kind of glow about this movie. Let me express the difference, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the movie era, like the whole the copy of a copy, kind of that diluted, like the superhero movie, the epic movie, the disaster movie, all those kind of movies, okay?
Yeah.
Way they would have approached this joke, you would have had like a very fake mannequin head things pop off, and that you would have got hidden. There's come across like very fake dummy head. That's not to say fake dummy gags can't work like we saw earlier in this movie, that with it being shot, but that was very, very intentional. That's more of like, okay, look, we want the head to come off, and we're just gonna cheap out on it. Okay, here, head's completely eviscerated and gone. We see like the bloody aftermath, See, that's the difference, okay? Just like dummy head just comes off. His laziness is like, okay, so it's absurd that would happen, but still like, okay, yeah, that looks really bad. He completely decapitated the guy.
Alternatively, the movie would have gone also with way too much blood.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean way too much blood?
What I mean is like they would have done probably a lot more. Like they would have shown details of going to the character into like his mouth or something like that as well.
Maybe. That's possible, yeah, I guess. So it has a series of backflips. into the car, which then leads to like a death trap, which is just hilarious. Where the death trap just has like all these like balloons and bees and
Like,
God.
like he like he like he can't get out because the doors are locked.
Yep.
Like so he shoots the wind, which so in a moment where he's actually kind of smart, shoots out the window to loosen it and pushes it out, only to get stuck in there with balloons, then bees,
And then the third one. Here's the kicker.
the exact same windshield that his car uses.
I love that. That was oh my God, yes.
Trapping him in the car yet again.
Then the face salvation. It's Clippy the paperclip. Which again, something we did not have in the original Naked Gun, but I love that we had it like right in the tail end of like the third Naked Gun, which is perfect.
Yeah, but now it's apparently installed on Kane's cars.
Yes. Anyways, that saves him. Then we we have like the big kind of the whole thing of like you were using me to solve your brother's murder kind of a thing, and I laughed so hard at the TiVo joke.
The what? The TiVo joke, right? The Buffy the Vampire says like
The idea that he had the first season of this to me feels like a McFarlane joke. I love it. Just the idea that he had. I can't guarantee it is, but it just feels very accurate. So the idea that he had Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 1 on his TiVo from way back in the day when he used TiVo, which was like the invention to to record it, and she plugged it into the internet, which basically would update like the TiVo or something, and basically would erase all the all the season.
I lent it to you so you could watch all these and get my references. And then it's like, what is that? Like, you plugged it into the internet right here. And it's like, yep, they're all gone.
Just the timing and the fact that the idea within this really serious, like this talk about the relationship and betrayal and everything, that's all secondary and complete. It's like water under the bridge compared to the betrayal of the TiVo. And the fact that afterwards, when he's taking like a cab or something home, he's clutching the TiVo.
Yep. What about the fact that he also breaks everyone's phones?
Yeah, that's oh god, that's again, it's not as great as the coffee, but it's still really funny.
I know, and then
I like that it's a runner though. It's a great runner.
Yeah, he even breaks like the guy's cell phone, the cab driver's cell phone, and he's like, what the hell? Yeah. So yeah.
PonziScheme.com arena.
Yep, I love that. And later that night, get like text where somebody actually walks into it.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So his plan. So Kane's plan is to wait. If it takes place on New Year's, wait for the balls to drop, not balls to drop.
Emphasis on balls plural for a very comedic setup.
Yep. Basically, when that happens, he hooks them up to the balls, and when they drop, they will emit the frequency, and everyone at this wrestling match will go berserk.
Yes, and it'll be the beginning of the end for Richard Kane's plan. So while we have this great gag where, like, Beth is trying to exact her revenge for her brother, and then, of course, she's hiding all these weapons, including like a shotgun in her wig somehow.
It's apparently mentioned in her novel that she wrote.
Yeah, but so the idea is, so Beth has like a true crime podcast. That's why she's involved in the investigation and everything. So,
and it's like they're based on true stories that I made up. Like, which apparently, and Kane figured out because he listens to it or reads the novels.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So basically, let's see. So during this, again, all this. So I'm gonna tell you something that is gonna sound really odd, but very appropriate with the gag that we get in this movie. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman have a podcast called Hollywood Babylon. Have you ever looked into it? Ever heard about it?
I think you mentioned it before.
I have, yes. It's great. So Ralph Garman, he's an impressionist, and he's a radio guy who did a lot of impressions, and he's funny, and he's basically Kevin Smith's co-host. They got a really good dynamic. And at point he's kind of like he's a drunk, but not like a bad way. He's kind of like the kind of a Dean Martin drunk.
All right.
Point being, he's like Kevin Smith's the optimist. He's the cynic, but he's the more focused cynic. And Kevin Smith's kind of like he tracks with like a lot of tangents. So it's a nice dynamic on the podcast. Take audience questions, talk about Hollywood movie news, stuff like that. Okay.
All right.
The end segment of their podcast is a running gag, which still goes on to this day. Has gone on for 10 plus years at this point, most likely, probably more. Is they talk about Liam Neeson at the end of every episode. Okay, and there's a reason for that. So Kevin Smith, of course, known for the raunchy and for the raunchy humor.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm going to put this delicately. Okay, there's a segment that people mail in jokes. Kind of like almost like your mama jokes or something like that. Essentially, like basically, it's like. Okay, so basically the joke is how big is Liam Neeson's
Johnson?
Pretty much. So that's essentially what the segment is, and people will mail in like their jokes. Liam Neeson's is so big, and they'll have like a funny like how big is it, and then it'll be like they'll read the punchline that has been submitted.
Basically, look at the size of that John Thomas.
Exactly.
Which the people in the UK will get.
Sure.
I mean, I swear to God, that's one of the slang terms and.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of slang terms we could use, but yeah.
But yeah, look at the size of that John Thomas.
Okay, but you see my point. This is the fact that it's a known thing in Hollywood, thanks in large part, thanks to the
Liam Neeson's large part, I guess.
Yes, well, exactly. There are no small parts; they only pale in comparison to Liam Neeson. The point being, it's been apparently it was like always long. Well, it's been long. We're gonna be here for a while, folks. The point being, it's been this rumored thing in Hollywood. I want to say stemming from the movie Kinsey, with like the gag in the movie Kinsey is like he plays a very well endowed character who's like a professor about like he's basically explored. He's a professor on sex and like human sexuality.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, the point being is like the gag in the Kinsey movie, I want to say started the speculation, and I don't know how well founded it is or not. I don't know if Liam Neeson's ex-girlfriends have confirmed this or not, but the point being, it was like a thing in Hollywood where people had mentioned kind of like the whole him and John Hamm and like Michael Fassbender famously are like guys with, they got long stories to tell, let's say. Point being, with that in mind, Liam Neeson has just become a running gag in Hollywood Babylon. So the gag that we have in this movie felt very much like an acknowledgement to some degree. I'm just saying, literally, have a podcast out there mentioned that talks about Liam Neeson, that part of Liam Neeson, like every episode for years. And mind you, Hollywood Babylon is kind of taking more hiatuses now since the pandemic, but it's a live show. Doing in front of the crowd and everything, but it's podcast. They record in front of a live audience, so it kind of took a bit of a hit during the pandemic.
Yeah,
got worked its way back, just not on as frequently. But it's real funny, and I recommend people check it out. Just given the fact that it's become a bit like through the internet and everything, I have to imagine on some level this joke may be in reference to that running bit on that podcast. That is my tangent, but seriously, how crazy do you think it is, just based on like the attention that we pay Frank Jr. Well, Frank Jr.'s Jr.
And they're like, for those it's probably pixelated for all to see, and instead of like trying to steer away from it, the host leads as well, explain in great detail what's going on.
Exactly. So him explaining it, I would say, like that whole bit of him explaining it, that felt a lot like Hollywood Babylon, like an acknowledgement of Hollywood Babylon. Like,
it looks like the most magnificent bratwurst.
Yep. Well, Jay, I'm sure you love that joke.
Hey, I like bratwurst, Dragon, but I'm not in that kind of way. And besides, I'm sure you would have liked it better if it was a hot dog.
Well, yes, Jacob. How big is Liam Neeson's bratwurst, Jacob?
I don't know, Dragon. How big is it? It's bigger than a hot dog.
True.
And
it's okay. Let's do a genuine one. Let's just throw one out there, okay?
yeah,
Okay. Jacob, how big is Liam Neeson's bratwurst?
I don't know, Dragon. How big is Liam Neeson's bratwurst?
It's so big. Liam Neeson's bratwurst is so big that it's as long as Ray Shogul's lifespan.
Yep. But the thing is, the host goes into meticulous detail describing it.
Yep.
And the kicker, Jane's watching.
Yes, which again, there's a sect of the audience that they were not going to put the pieces together, and I was going to say, okay, we'll just cut to some lady just kind of looking in shock and awe, but
it's then you realize, wait, that's Jane, and she's watching her sons be described on national television.
Yep. And basically, we take the joke from. There's one, honestly, in the whole movie. Frankly, in the whole movie, there is one joke that is essentially recycled, but it's reinvented though. The whole nothing to see here, folks. We took that with the whole fireworks display and we applied it to well. As I say, there is something to see there, so much so it's pixelated.
Oh yeah, and speaking of this is moving on from that kind of long scene. Long. Yep, but where Hawken Jr., who's helping Frank in this case, mans the beer station.
Yeah, but he's giving alcohol to kids.
To free beer to everyone, including he's not even paying attention to the fact that he hands it to a kid.
Yep.
And then
later on, he's fighting the children.
And then after that, after everything's done, he's drinking with the kids.
Yep. By the way, him fighting those kids, I'm convinced is a reference to Cobra Kai.
Explain.
Well, in Cobra Kai, so Cobra Kai, he's a student of Cobra Kai, in which he learns how to fight and everything. And at the end of season 2, he becomes a security officer, and he's breaking up a fight between kids, so he's kind of fighting children a little bit. Then by the end of the show, he basically becomes one of the guys that runs the dojo. So he's also still kind of fighting with children to a degree. The older house, though, he fights children and gets drunk with them afterwards.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not in Cobra Kai, but it definitely is here.
No, it's still funny in Cobra Kai. It's still very light. He's not getting drunk with those kids in Cobra Kai. Let's be very clear about that.
But he is still drunk.
Well, not in Cobra Kai.
Oh, all right.
No, he's a student. He's essentially an older student.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know Paul Walter Hauser was in Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, he did that before he got famous. Actually, it was really good.
Nice. But yeah, he's still fighting children here too.
Oh yeah. All right.
And so
after Frank gets his pants back on.
Yep, and he retrieves the device.
Yep.
He gets confronted by Kane.
Yes.
Who takes the device back? I forget, Dragon. How does he do it? How does he get the device back?
Well, how does he, Jacob?
Like I said, seriously, I don't know. I'm asking. I don't remember.
Well, okay, I remember. Yeah, so he basically the crowd gets activated. So the thing has a countdown. I think Kane just activates, and then the crowd goes into a frenzy, and then he drops it, and then Kane picks it up, and then he kind of begins to chase. Then he gets on he and his men get on motorcycles, but none of them know how to ride motorcycles, which is really good.
Yep, and Frank fights his way through the crowd.
So when he's fighting through the crowd, we have more of that action movie fun, and we had sliding under and basically boxing the marble bags.
Oh God!
And then
and of course, the funny thing is he's not even firing a gun at all in that scene. He's just
because he doesn't want to kill me. They're civilians.
Yeah, and but he's hurting them with his with the clips.
Okay, so that's what I want to talk about. That's my favorite. That's my favorite spoofy kind of in terms of the action movie thing. It's the fact that he's I love that. I've always loved that clip move. But the idea of taking that, basically the idea, like I've seen Batman do this in like fan films, where basically basically unloads the gun and kicks the clip into a guy. But seeing that magnified and just he's using that like crazy and like defying the laws of physics to keep kicking the clip and hitting the guy, the clip bounces back and he catches it in the gun. It's the coolest thing ever. Yet it's like an over. We're playing it like an overplayed action trope, and it's saving the day non-lethally. It's just awesome. He knocks the guy's tooth out, but then he fires it back in.
I love that. Like the only time he does fire the gun is to shoot the tooth back in.
Yeah, so I love that's great. All that,
which like sends the guy flying.
yes.
But then when the bad guys get away, it's like he's lost. He doesn't know what to do.
Enter.
And then he sees the sign. An owl.
An owl.
Daddy. Hello, son. The fact that they gave the owl subtitles.
Well, yeah. How else is he gonna talk?
Yeah. And then he's like,
"Come on, Jacob, take this comedy seriously, will you?"
Like, okay, Dragon, I'm going to take this thing very seriously.
There you go.
Can you hear how serious I am?
Yes.
Good, because I'm very serious right now.
Don't call him Shirley.
My name's not Shirley.
Okay. Anyway, we have a chase.
He's being lifted by the owl.
He's being lifted by the owl, which is basically the spirit of his father, and he's being led. So Liam Neeson, the 6'4" Irishman, is being lifted and carried by he's holding on to like the little tiny legs of this owl. Is like flying him in this high speed chase over the motorcycle, and
get that one, Dad. Get that one over there.
Yep, so he's like taking out like the motorcyclist now. So then he drops the payload on Kane, which basically causes him to fall into a fountain, which is pretty. This is gonna be a random aside.
Yeah,
I think fountains are cool, so I like the inclusion of the fountain.
Fountains are cool.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, so anyways, point being, it goes to the fountain. Then they basically, this is kind of like with the action movie, kind of like spoof stuff that we're doing here. We basically have a spoof of the ending of the first John Wick, at least to some degree. The idea of like we have like the big built-up action bout, and it's very similar to like the thing with the first John Wick was that we had a lot of build-up to a fight, which technically would have really gone like the way we see it go here, if you really think about it. Where basically, if John Wick wasn't as legitimately hurt as he was in that movie, the fight would have gone pretty much like you see it here. Where it's like one punch against like a bloated businessman who probably can't fight. And he's like one punch. Oh, you punched me in my tum tum. Oh,
it's like you want to continue. You're like, you want to continue? It's like, no.
So this is like the Ricardo Montalban energy here. It's like, oh my god, yes, it's the absurd dialogue from Danny Houston, just playing like, oh, I don't want to like a kid on a playground. Like, no, like punch me in the tummy. I don't want to. No.
And then then you're under arrest. It's like, I'm gonna fly. I kind of saw where this joke was coming, but it was still funny.
Yeah.
Where it was going, but it was still funny.
Yep.
When he activated his jetpack or whatever.
Yep.
Or kind of like his Iron Man tech.
Yeah. The repulsors. Yeah.
Then blasted off and then hit his head and knocked himself out.
Which I wonder if the whole repulsor thing might be again a bit of a nod to the whole Elon Musk parody. I want to be. I'm not just trying to throw Musk under the bus. I'm trying to say he's just Elon Musk. I'm just saying with the whole electric car and like the technological thing. I think there's some Musk parody in there a little bit.
I mean, definitely. I mean, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, so with that in mind, of course, the running gag's always been like Elon Musk has very much been compared to like the real life Tony Stark, at least nowadays a lot less so, but in the beginning, is the idea. It's all the technology and stuff,
And he's and at least he's still very good in space industry.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So there is that. So.
Anyway, the point being, like, he's kind of pulls like an Iron Man trick out there, and he kind of bashes his head, and he is defeated.
Yep. In which then Beth comes along, and again she wants to kill Kane. And then Frank talked to her. Was like, "It'll set you down that path. You'll look at it like, and with the feeling that
It's like
was
this could be the greatest moment of your life. Like, ignore the greatest potential moment of your life right now.
It's like you'll look at your back thing. That was awesome.
Yeah, right there.
It's like, yeah, it's like that was awesome. It's like talking about like it's basically it's like that whole again speaking of parodies, like the parodies like if you kill them you're no better kind of thing. But in this case, like that would be awesome.
Be awesome. Basically, yeah, it's like the anti-sales pitch, you know.
It's like you're supposed to talk good, but you're only making it sound more enticing.
Yeah.
It's like it's gonna be the greatest feeling of your life. But she doesn't do it. And funnily enough, this is actually the first Naked Gun villain not to die.
Yeah.
Because every other one did die. Like,
And they die in kind of hilarious means.
I remember Montalban's character, whose name I'm forgetting. Like
Victor Ludwig. Victor, was it Victor Ludwig or something Ludwig?
Vincent Ludwig.
Vincent Ludwig.
I think so. Yeah, it is Vincent.
Okay.
But, like how he fell off the stage.
He had the best death of any of the Naked Gun bad guys. Let's be honest.
Yep, he fell off the stage. He got hit, fell off the stadium, got hit by a bus, then trampled by a marching band, which is apparently also the same way Ed Hawkins' father died.
Which, oh my god, I still love that joke.
Like my father went the same way.
The way George Kennedy nailed that delivery, he's still, oh my god, he totally killed that delivery.
It's like, we still should do an actual podcast on the original movie one of these days.
Yeah, but now we've talked about too much of it, though. That's what I'm worried about.
I know. I think we've separated enough from this to. If we don't do it like immediately after, I think we'll be good.
Okay.
But that's inside baseball. We can discuss it a later time.
Yep.
It's like
Enrico Palazzo.
Oh god. But anyway, so they release everyone from the plot device with the turning it to calm down instead of calm up.
Yep.
Which is a great gag, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Not one of the funniest. It's not like one of like the funniest bits, but it's kind of like a chuckle moment. And then immediately everyone's like hugging each other, set to only time. It's just such a drastic whiplash. Dragon, you there?
Can you not hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So yes, Jay. What's your point?
I'm just saying, like, after like the whiplash from like everyone doing all that, then immediately hugging each other, and set to only time. As you're saying.
I love the owl just going off too. Like, I'm proud of you, son.
I wish it would have said something like, "Say hi to your mother for me." That would have sold the bit a bit more.
Maybe.
Or like we see Jane with the owl later.
Oh god.
That would have been great.
Maybe.
It's like, I wonder what this owl is. All right, but
that owl voiced by Kelly Who.
Yes.
Okay.
Who?
Kelly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to tell me? That's fine.
So our ending, we end really strong here. Basically, oh god, hold on a second. We got to talk about one of the great. So the Mission Impossible parodies. We interrogate the Kevin Durant character with this whole hilarious parody of the Mission Impossible room reveal, where the room disappears and like we got him to confess. And we had this whole elaborate thing, really cleverly, by the way. We basically convinced him, like, oh yeah, the plan already happened, and they're trying to get him to rat on the bad guy, which will tell them where they need to go.
And then becoming the influencer.
Yeah.
That was great.
Which again, the attractive influence, the whole you're gonna have to you can't be fat, you can't be thick. No.
Like it's like you're stuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, it's just this whole the thing where basically he grills him, and he's like, Kevin Durant's his reactions are perfect in that scene too. He really just plays into it. The whole thing where he's getting like, it actually doesn't sound half bad. Oh yeah, it doesn't sound bad now. But then if the next pretty boy in jail, and he doesn't have to worry about counting carbs because you're the skinny guy. You can't change that now.
otherwise they'll hate you.
Yeah.
They'll turn on you. You have a brand.
So that's great. And then of course, the room falls away. We get all the information we need, and then it's IA. IA has Frank, and then of course, like it's building contracting, and then it's oh my god.
And she's like, I sped it up. Oh, no problem with that. And then OSHA. She gets arrested by OSHA. It's basically like it's like a Russian doll of interrogation rooms.
Which I just found so funny because look, I really like that gag from Mission Impossible. So it was like seeing that parody was just just delightful. Anyway, so with that, we kind of set it by looking at Frank based on all like the very cavalier policing that he's done throughout the movie. So our ending is Frank and Beth. They go to, apparently IA, and this is a smart joke too, by the way. The idea that IA is kind of like these days just based on accountability and stuff. It's essentially it's like a vacation anyway. So Frank basically, the internal investigation is going to like a really luxurious, awesome looking resort, which looks really cool too, by the way.
I mean, I'd like to go to a place like. I mean, maybe I should become a police officer and do what Frank does if I could get sent to a place like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just steal some money, probably shoot some criminals, and just go to go to this IA safe haven.
It's a free vacation.
There you go.
Don't even have to, and it's all paid by the taxpayer too.
Yep.
So it's a win-win. I see that as an absolute win.
So already that's a clever joke, and then we take it the next level where we do like the triumphant freeze frame at the end of the movie.
I kind of like the original series.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, it elevates it like where everyone else actually is frozen, except Frank and Beth.
And they're kind of freaking out about what's going on. They're looking around, and like Beth is really not. Beth's really freaking out, and Frank's trying to keep her calm. And then they realize we've been watching him.
Like, wait, have you been watching us?
You've seen me in shorts.
See, we've seen more than that.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Technically, we've seen a lot more than that.
Oh yeah, Jacob's seen his bratwurst.
Dragon didn't get his hot dog this time.
No, Jacob saw all that Irish bratwurst. It's enough to feed all of Ireland.
Oh God!
It's enough to feed all the Irish barmaids.
Oh God! Like, have you been watching us this whole time? But then here's the thing: he literally breaks the fourth wall,
which I thought was so awesome. And then just make things better, we then go to the siren.
Yep, like it's paying tribute to his dear old dad.
Yeah,
paying tribute to the original 3 movies.
Yep,
playing like a greatest hits of it. I rewatched the funny thing is earlier today I rewatched all 3 of the siren intros.
Yeah.
Like, I still think the first one is obviously the funniest.
Well, yeah.
Like it just escalates until it gets to like the roller coaster.
Mm-hmm. It's just delightful.
Although the second one probably has like the most audacious one.
Maybe.
I think you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
The birth one.
Yeah. No. Yep. For sure. Yep.
Try explaining that one to people watching it.
Well.
I don't have that image on this set. But yeah. And then Dragon, the song.
Yeah, so I love that we built up that Frank has a lovely singing voice, and there's the idea, okay, look, we're never going to hear Liam Neeson sing, and then oh my god, at the end,
I rented out that recording booth, but then it's like Beth. But then it becomes like hilariously amateurish to be like, oh, what does this button do? And he like plays the guitar. Like, hey, that was easy. And go on, Dragon. Then I'm sorry.
Well, no, that's it.
Yep. Now, Dragon, did you stay till the very end of the movie, like the end of the credits?
I did.
All right. And so you noticed a lot of like they brought back the funny gag credits,
Yes, we had the eye chart.
like the eye chart set dressings, like with like ranch dressing, Italian dressing, things like that.
Yeah, I was hoping they were going to do that, so I was really pleased. Like, oh yeah, they brought those back too. Great.
Oh yeah, and they even brought back, and they even not brought back, but they also have another vestige of modern day action movies.
Yeah.
The post credits scene.
Oh yes, yes they do.
Weird Al at the bunker.
Yep.
It's like, hey, evil billionaires, but who's ready for? And then he notices no one's there. It's like, guys, what the heck? I love how Weird Al gets the last word in the movie.
As he should.
Where he's just like over the Paramount Mountain going, what the heck? Which could definitely be used as like a reaction to Paramount later on.
Yep.
Especially now that like within like the next 2 days they're merging with Skydance.
Yeah.
And so yeah. So that was the Naked Gun.
Indeed it was.
Dragon.
That was Liam Neeson's nickname in high school too, by the way. But yes, that's why I took on the role. It was like how did Septic Fall know my nickname?
Nickname?
Yeah.
I thought you said something else for a moment.
No. What did you think I said?
Let's just say I thought you said that with a D.
No.
No.
No. Like how do you know my nickname in college?
I mean, just the way you word it, it's not like you put a D at the front of that.
All right, fine. Well, fine. You see, my associate has a dirty bratwurst focused mind.
Like, oh, you're the one who brought the whole discussion of his.
Yes, I did. You're going to get to it though.
Yes.
You recounted the fact that it was a bratwurst very, very.
Well, I mean, like I said, that was just an example. It wasn't bringing up because I like bratwurst.
Well, you do like bratwurst, though.
Yes, but that's besides the point.
Yeah.
I don't like Liam Neeson's bratwurst.
Have you ever tried it, though?
No, and I don't plan to.
Just come to find out, Liam Neeson on the side, though, he's kind of like an art, it's like a food artisan kind of thing, where it's like, oh, try Neeson bratwurst. There's like a line of ladies around the block who were kind of initially disappointed, but like, oh, this is actually quality bratwurst.
Quality bratwurst.
Exactly. That's the thing. So it's a little unenthused because initially they were lining up around the block, misinterpreting what that sign meant.
And then it's just Liam Neeson selling bratwurst.
Yep.
And
he's actually selling bratwurst. Oh, but it's quality bratwurst.
Yep, it's actually really good too.
I feel that we were taken by this bratwurst ad.
I don't have that in here.
I'm well aware by the budum sheesh.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, yeah. So I guess in closing, look, Naked Gun. This movie's fantastic. I really can't wait to rewatch this movie. I had a great time with it, and again, I feel I was very pleased that this thing celebrated the original and the spirit of the original. It again feels less like a replacement, more of just kind of like an awesome tribute that is kind of like tailored towards it's an update of the original. It's it's not a replacement. It's just more Naked Gun, which is there's nothing wrong with that in this world.
And it feels like a proper sequel too. Like it's like as you said, it's not trying to replace it. It is like acknowledging the original's place and not really overwriting it in any way. Not like claiming oh yeah, this movie is the true Naked Gun.
Yeah. It's more naked.
It's like nakedist, maybe.
Yep.
Maybe that's what the sequel should be called, like the Nakeder Gun.
Oh yeah, there you go, yeah.
And then the third one would obviously be the Nakedist Gun.
What the parody of Naked Gun would be, right?
What would it be?
The Nude Weapon.
Now that's the other name for that's his other nickname.
Or the Bear Beretta.
But
Or
yeah.
the exposed heavy artillery equipment.
And you're saying I was obsessed with this bratwurst.
Hey, no, I'm talking about those names for the movie. Okay, you're actually applying. You're still applying it to. What was the English term, Jacob?
Intelligently stupid.
No, the English term for the Johnson what?
John Thomas.
The John Thomas.
Yep. All right. Well, yeah. So either way, I had a lot of fun with this movie. This movie is fantastic. I recommend people go see it.
Support comedies, folks.
Tell people that there is a place for comedies like this in the world.
Yes.
Watch it as many times as you need, because it's worth it, and you might catch something you didn't see the first time.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's gags and other things that were in the movie that we didn't actually see the first time, that we actually didn't see. Right, Dragon? I'm sure there's things we
most
missed.
assuredly, yeah.
Yeah. These are the kind of movies you go over with a fine-tooth comb, find new things, and still laugh at it regardless.
Yeah.
And I think this movie, maybe save for a couple things, perfectly updated the Abrahamson-Zucker formula. And is a fitting continuation of the Naked Gun movies.
Yep.
All right, so we going out, Dragon?
I think so.
All right, we're heading out then. And thank you, Kogias and Little Blue, for joining us this evening. And remember, stay naked. Sorry. Dragon, come up with a better outro, please.
Okay. Okay. All right, folks, beware that chili dog first thing in the morning.
Good night, everybody.
Coffee!